Hey, what's up, GW coming to you live? Yes, I know it's been a hot minute, and I know also I look like crap because my cat got me up about 2:45, and we've been up ever since. It is Thanksgiving, and first and foremost, I want to wish everybody, especially the people that watch me, a very happy Thanksgiving, and I hope you guys do whatever you want. Man, I really do look crappy, don't I? Couple of things. I have a story to tell you guys. So, sit back is another doctor story. But before we get into any of that, I'd like to say what's up to a couple of people. Couple of people I just met this week. I was filling in my job and I met a couple cool people. There we go. I had to fix my hair. But anyways, couple of cool people. Jen and Melissa. Those two people are really cool. I had to do some fill in and I was already stretched to the limit because I had like 10 other things to do. And these two girls were pretty awesome to me. They really appreciated what I did in their area. They also offered me a donut, and it seems like we just clicked. So I want to say a big shout out to them. Um, and hopefully, they have a pretty cool Thanksgiving as well. Um, a lot of things been going on. But yesterday we were in Butler, like I said, and a lot of cop activity. A lot of cop activity. In fact, my wife saw the state boy pull somebody over in Sheets. We drove past. It was pretty wicked. I don't know what was going on, but they were doing one thorough investigation. So I don't know. But yeah, we're going to get into this medical story real quick. So anyway, my primary doctor, Dr. Hilliard, has left to practice. So I'm seeing the PA, Sarah. And I called down there. I had some symptoms of a infection. Just gonna put it that way. And they told me to go to foster care. Now this is where everything starts going south. Not with my primary care PCP people, but with the foster care people. Slippery Rock Foster Care. It's in the same building, believe it or not. And these people, even though they're connected to other offices, they're like isolated because they don't know anything outside of their door to the right. Yeah, left, rather. No, right. It's right. So I go down there and I tell them they're all in, the independent health network. And I go ahead and I give them my name and everything. Well, they can't find me, for one. And for two, they don't even know why I'm there, even though I had called, about 20 minutes earlier. So I get down there, had to argue with the receptionist, who is a real stuck on herself sort of person, and that didn't jive with me. There was nobody in the place, and she wants to basically make me feel like crap because she's treating me like crap because I'm sorry it's the end of the day and I'm sorry that you have to work. But she just gave me all kinds of attitude, and then she asked me for my insurance card, which I clearly gave it to her. She's like, "Well, we don't recognize this." Now, on the wall right next to the kiosk right there, it says no insurance, no problem. Faster care visits $49.95. Cool, bill me. I don't care. I'm good for $50. I'm good for 100. I'm good for 200. Whatever. I had suggested that to her. She says we don't do that. There's a sign right there on the door. So now I'm getting a little bit agitated. So now I'm hoping that the rest of the visit goes well. And she goes, "Take a seat. It'll be a minute." Oh, fine. I no sooner sit down. I pull my phone out because I'm going to tell my wife, "Hey, I'm in foster care. I'm going to be seen." I no sooner pulled out my phone. This nurse's assistant comes out. She goes, "Greg?" I said, "Yeah." So we go in the room. And we're going, she's like, "What are you here for?" And I'm talking to her, and it's a casual conversation. Like, literally, it's just like me and like my favorite coworker. In other words, what I'm saying is there was no attitude there. And she goes, "What are you here for?" And I told her, thought I had a UTI, and they suck. She goes, "Go ahead, give me a sample, whatever. Go do my thing, right?" And come out. And she goes, well, we'll check it in a little bit. Have a seat in the room. Okay. So I'm in the room for a little while. And soon as again, I pull out my phone. I'm like, Dawn, I'm in the waiting room. I should be home soon because Dawn had to go be picked up at 4. And mind you, it was like I want to say 2:40 by the time I was in that room. So I was just trying to make sure I had good enough time to go back and get my wife. So knock on the door. This woman comes in, real librarian looking person. That's all I could describe her. She had glasses like down to here. She had these kind of glasses, she had that going on. Her hair all in a beehive, sweater, and she's like, Mr. Warner. I said, yes, ma'am. I was being cool. She goes, I worked in the urologic field for years. I can tell you everything that you have. Okay, now mind you, it was already it wasn't even 5 minutes since I gave a sample that I'm in the room. She's already checked it now, apparently. Yeah, right. So she says, there's nothing wrong with you, sir. I don't know why you're here. So then I'm like, okay, so I'm thinking, okay, if it's not a UTI, what is it? So I asked her, I said, can it be a yeast infection? Can it be any other kind of condition? And she says, we're not going to get into that, sir. I know my stuff, and you don't have anything. You're free to go. Real uppity, old school uppity type person. So I'm like, okay, now I'm thinking in my head, this was a freaking waste of time. So she gives me discharge papers, right? So I went home. I was only at home for like 5 minutes. I sat down and then I had to go back to Slippery Rock to pick up my wife, right? So I told her what's going on. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, you ain't going to believe this crap. So the next morning I come to work, still with symptoms because I know she was wrong. So I called my primary care doctor. I also called Benbrook Urologic, the good people, the people that know what they're talking about, right? And I tell them. And they said, okay, well, you were at Faster Care. What happened? I told them the whole story. I told them how I got there, I got attitude. That they said there was not a problem, but there is because it's still persisting, right? I said, and furthermore, I feel like it was a waste of my time. I don't know the name of the doctor, and I don't want to know because I don't want to. And my wife attributes that to it's the holiday season, nobody wants to work. That's what she said, and I agree with her. Especially the receptionist who gave me more attitude than the actual doctor, but they were both kind of on equal playing field there. So that was interesting. So when I called the urologic department, the lady was just like, "Are you kidding me? We've never heard of that." So she pulls up my thing for Faster Care, and it shows when I was admitted, right, and it shows when I left. It wasn't even 15 minutes, to be fair, and I didn't know that. So I'm telling you, don't go to Slippery Rock Faster Care if you have an issue or if you see this librarian looking woman. Just keep your guard up. That's all I'm saying. So we've been dealing with that. Also, I haven't been on here because of personal reasons. My parents have needed some help. They're at that age where they can't get around too well, and I've been going up to help out a little bit, here and there. My mother-in-law is pretty much on death's door, to be honest with you, and I haven't felt like coming on here. The other thing that I've noticed about myself is that I just don't have I haven't had a chance to watch anything really good lately. I am off tomorrow, so maybe that'll change. I can watch a movie here and there. But it just seems like that lately there are pretty much no really good horror films out there. I have been playing a lot of Call of Duty lately, the new one, and say what you will, but the thing is pretty cool. In fact, I prestiged this morning, so that's cool. The other thing is I've been taking care of my wife a little bit. She's been emotionally, you know, car crashed, if you will, with overwhelming stress, and it's the holiday season and everybody at work's got an attitude. You go to Butler to go do some shopping, everybody in Boscov's has an attitude. Like, they don't even care. And it's a big mess. Um, and a lot of people this time of year just don't have time to sit there and watch me ramble on about anything. And I understand that because I'm busy too. In fact, for the first time in a couple years, we've actually gotten all of our Christmas shopping almost done. So that's a good thing. And that's pretty cool because I read Amazon's laying off people. You don't know if the post office is going to start, and you don't want to risk having your packages come late or even after Christmas for that matter. YouTube and Disney had a big falling out, but they got together. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but a little while ago, Disney channels, including ABC, were not available on YouTube TV. And, all of ESPN either, which is okay because we got the Disney, Hulu, ESPN full package. So really that don't affect us. The only thing we were out is watching America's Funniest Videos. So there's that. And yeah. So, and last year, I didn't even realize it was a tradition until just now. I did watch the movie Thanksgiving by Eli Roth on Thanksgiving last year, if you guys can remember that. And they are supposed to come out with a sequel. In fact, there was an article on Google, on Google feed that I pulled up, and it said Eli Roth gives promising update on Thanksgiving sequel. I didn't read it, but I'm kind of curious to see where he's going to go with the story and see what's going on with that. And of course, the time change, the biggest thing. It's still screwing me up. My cat got me up at 2:45 this morning, and it is probably like, 6 or 7 in the morning? Not sure. So I've been up and playing Call of Duty, like I said, and just watching, hanging out, and just drinking some coffee. But, you know, this is a time too where, you reflect on the year, especially today. You reflect on things you're thankful for. And some people I've noticed don't get really emotionally deep when it comes to that. In fact, the last couple of days, to be honest with you, I've been walking around work just telling a few people how much I appreciate them. And the reason I think I do that is because sometimes when you stop and you look at where you're at, and you could be anybody, you could be a rock star, baseball player, football player, sports announcer, you could be a limo driver, whatever you are. I think people forget that the people around them that support them and appreciate them is a small part of why they are where they are, if not a large part. And with the world the way it is and everything, and I'm not going to go on much longer about this, but this is just my thinking. With the world the way it is, you kind of hold people back because you're afraid to let them in. But there are people that I've known for years that have always been there and always appreciated. Even when I feel like I fall, they pick me up. And I'm not just talking about family, I'm talking about friends too. That really make you feel appreciated. And sometimes I turn around and I say thank you, and I catch them off guard, and they're like, dude, what are you thanking me for? And I'm like, because you were there for me. And I go, oh, it ain't anything. Yeah, it might be nothing to them, but it's everything to somebody else. And I'm learning that. And I'll give you a perfect example. So me and my wife, like I said, we've been going through a little bit of a rough patch, with personal drama. And you get mad, you get frustrated, and sometimes you argue. And in the middle of arguing, you realize maybe how important that person is, because you start thinking all the way back to the beginning about, how you met and everything they do for you, and it makes you cry, But I got to be honest, I look at my wife and, every day, and I thank God that I have her, because if I didn't, I don't know how I would turn out. Another thing that I've been realizing lately is, feelings and emotions, man, they get brought out of you by dumb things. You know, perfect example. I was up yesterday morning, very early. We had to do some run around in Butler. My wife had to get a nail fixed, and Butler was chaotic yesterday. So if you survived that, hey man, you deserve a war medal. But I got up super early and I watched that movie Notorious about the notorious B.I.G. So yeah, I watched this bad boy on Stars, and I never was a real big fan about Biggie Smalls. I like his stuff, but I was never, Camp Bad Boy. That was not me. But the movie, the movie has something few hood movies and rap and biography pictures have. It has a big heart to it. I don't know how to even explain it. It's very well done, and when you see, the tragic end of what happened to him, and you follow this thing, I don't care if you hate him or not, you're gonna cry because you can relate to this guy, small town dude doing what he can to get by, and the cast was great. I mean, Angela Bassett, Jamal Woodward. Let's see who else was in this. So Angela Bassett, Jamal Woodward, and Derek Luke, and it's directed by George Tillman Jr. So anyway, I'm watching this thing, and it portrays a pretty decent, summary of his life, from small time crack dealer to one of the greatest rappers in the history of hip hop. I've seen this a few times, and every time this stupid thing gets me because at the end of the movie, you literally have to fight back tears, and I cannot explain it. So anyway, I start crying about this stupid thing because it does. I mean, it pulls you in, and it just cascades you with sorrow. I mean, and he's portrayed as just a normal guy. He's not a thug. He doesn't have a tough exterior. He's trying to do the best he can, and it also chronicles a little bit. It touches on the Little Kim and Faith Evans deal. And if you're a fan of hip hop, you know that the other movie, All Eyes on Me, kind of is the what's the word? The counterpart to this. So you watch them two back to back, and you'll have a pretty good understanding of how, in the early '90s, rap got way out of control. And I can't remember the dude that played Tupac in here, but he's pretty good. He's pretty good. But yeah, and like I said, this movie is one of them ones where you go for the ride, and you actually want to listen to the CD when you're done. I have it in my car right now. But it's on Stars if you guys want to check it out. But it's a pretty cool picture. And Jamal Woodward, I'm telling you, he needs to play in other stuff because this cat does really good. You know. Now speaking of biopics, I'm still waiting on the Two Live Crew biopic movie. They keep saying it's in production, and I keep thinking like, how are you gonna do that? You're gonna have to push the ratings board with the nudity and the sexual content because when you look at back at that, that was a fierce time. I mean, and the NWA biopic Straight Outta Compton really made you feel like you were seeing, that whole thing unfold before your eyes. And that's what I liked about it. It took you deep into the gutter, into the lives of these people, and how, they broke up in the aftermath. And same thing with here, Notorious. You get to see that, and I think that's why it's so emotional because you're so invested in it. You know, that's something I couldn't understand. These like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. When Buffy ended, everybody was mad. Sopranos ended, everybody was mad. I think because you get so invested in these characters that you want to believe that you see part of people in them. And then when a TV show ends or something like that, you feel like they're gone forever, but even though they're not real, I mean, it's a weird thing. It's a weird dynamic. So there's that. But yeah, check this one out if you like hip hop or if you've never seen it. I mean, this thing is pretty powerful, to be fair with you. And the people that played Little Kim, I wish I knew her name. She was great. There's also, you know, but yeah, definitely check that out. That's about the only movie I had watched this weekend, to be honest with you. And like I said, hopefully get some free time tomorrow. But I just wanted to touch base, and I really do appreciate all my fans. And I'm sometimes I don't put on a video for a couple months, and people go, "Dude, you still around?" And yeah, it's just the whole thing of it is, guys, is that I mean to give you more content. But then I come home and situations happen, and sometimes you just don't feel like doing what you want to do. And it happens to everybody, and especially now. I mean, the holidays. Everybody's going to be all up in arms, all mad, all frustrated, running through shopping malls if we still have them around. I don't know. And they're going to just bulldoze over you because they're stressed out too, you know? It's like everybody's got tomorrow off or Friday off. Yeah, tomorrow. My wife don't because too many people ruined it for her. And that's just one little bit of frustration. So I said, okay, why on Saturday we just stay home, clean the house, chill out. We've been going to Butler so much. Why don't we just hang back a minute? I mean. But, also, I want to tell you guys that right up the street at Lawhead's gas station, y'all need to stop there because they are awesome. They gave me new tires, a hell of a deal on new tires, too. Alignment. And they're really awesome people, and I cannot advertise them enough. I mean, you just got to go there for yourself, really, and see that because they are wonderful people, and it's family owned. They're not trying to exploit you. They're not trying to take you for a ride. I mean, they're honest, hardworking, and they really care about their customer base. So, if you need more info on that, give me a call or not give me a call. Text me and I'll get you their number or whatever if you're looking for, inspections or whatever. I can give you the number or you can Google it up at Lawhead's gas station. Check it out. And I have known the owner's wife for years, and I'm telling you guys, I propped him before, but these guys are awesome. So definitely give them a shout out and definitely, check them out because they're pretty good people. In one little sidebar deal, this is just for two people in general. I like to say happy Thanksgiving to my man Green Eyed Assassin and my man Lord Vortigan. And I've been really busy, guys, and I haven't been able to jump on. We're going through Neo and a bunch of other stuff. And I appreciate everything you guys do. And life just seems to be kicking the crap out of me. It seems like me and life are in a one big death match, and I don't have time to really chill out. But I want you to know, guys, I really appreciate everything you do, and I hope you see this because sometimes, again, you don't say, I appreciate, what you did and helping me out a little bit. And like I said, I've been stuck on this Call of Duty thing, but I want you guys to know that I really appreciate the two of you. And I don't know, I just wish that life would slow down so I can enjoy things. Because I wouldn't be anywhere in them games without you. I'm telling you straight up. And then my man Dre, Dre hasn't wrote me, hasn't talked to me. I used to talk about him all the time. I don't know what the boy doing now, but I hope he's okay. Dre, I hope you all right. I hope you're doing good. We brothers, and he's like one of them people that, like I said, you grow up with, you're brothers with, but you're not really brothers. We were so close, and I kind of miss him a little bit, But a lot of people too have seen my Josh and Kathy video and want to know how true that was, and I'm gonna tell you, it's really true. And it's sometimes hard going back and reliving them moments. You know, because Josh was like the brother I didn't have that I should have had. That's what I'm going to say. And sometimes it is hard, you reflect back on that stuff, you know. But I don't want to get too preachy, and I don't want anybody saying, well, that's all Greg did is ramble on about his friends and this and that. But no, check out Notorious. Play Call of Duty. It's on Game Pass right now. I will be checking out Megan 2.0. I just haven't had the chance. And there really isn't anything horror related that's really awesome that I know of. Oh, I know what. So anyway, yeah, this is really cool. So if you like old grindhouse movies, if you like those, movies that make you just go, ooh, there's one from the 70s you guys got to check out, and I just saw it's on 4K, and it's called Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS. It's an exploitation film starring Diane Thorne. I've seen it a million times, and it is very gritty, very graphic. She plays a commandant at a Nazi death camp, and it is wicked. I mean, wicked. There are things in this movie I can't even describe. And there was four of them, and the big joke to all four of them is that she dies in every one of them, yet comes back for a sequel. In fact, what one was it? Was the Wicked Warden? She gets torn apart by wild lions. You got to see it. But these things are pure exploitation, trashy, overtly sexual, violent movies that, if you can find them, check them out. The best one, in my opinion, is Tigress of Siberia, but you probably won't find that film on a Region 1 DVD because for some reason they've never put those out. They only put out the two, which is She-Wolf of the SS and Harem Keeper of Oil Sheiks. Both exploitation to the max, grindhouse, blood on the floor, the type of movie that you'd go into a theater and it would be like, as big as this room, really nasty little vile piece of filmmaking, but they are pretty good, and they're from the 70s, and they don't make films like that anymore. And the reason that I do care about them so much is because my man, when I was first getting into horror films, my man MC told me about them. And I had to go out and get them, and I rented them for prime time, and I double copied them. And they're pretty wicked, man, I'm telling you. But check them out if you want to see some really nasty, vile crap. Check out Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS. It's on 4K. Surprisingly, on 4K, But regardless, I hope everybody has a Thanksgiving, and I want to thank everybody who have watched my videos throughout the year, everybody who has listened to me, everybody who has been down with me, and everybody that's just cool. We just going to keep the ball rolling. And like I said, I'm sorry the personal issues coming. Like I said, I want to give you guys more content, but it sometimes life just hits the pause button on whatever you got going on, and it sucks. And there's a lot of people that I am thankful for, not only my subscribers, but some of the people down there who are my subscribers are actually like family to me. There's a few of them that really this year have really stepped up in my opinion and have said this is who I really am, and that's cool. And then just two more minor announcements. You will never hear me talk about Eric ever again. I'm not going to get into it. The people that know. And the people that don't know, you can ask me in private. I'm not going to broadcast his whole thing on YouTube. That's the problem. Something was actually on Facebook that got him in trouble, but that's all I'm going to say. And you will never hear me talk about Josh, because them people are not anything to me anymore. There's a whole big reason for that. So if you're wondering about that, then there's no problem because I ain't even going to talk about them. But yeah. So that's about all I got. And sorry I didn't have an official movie review, but Notorious was the closest thing I got. And like I said, check it out. If it doesn't grab you toward the end, even though you know that's what's really wild is you know this cat's gonna die. The whole movie you know that. But when it happens and you see it, it pulls something out of you that you didn't even know was there. Man, I sat there with my biting my lip quivering. I'm just like, okay, I can't take it. And that's the beauty of that movie or movies like it. Movies are made to make you feel something. If it's a good movie, it's gonna make you feel sad. It's gonna make you feel afraid. It's gonna make you feel excited. One of the best. I'll leave you with this. One of the best moments that I can remember was watching the Avengers Endgame. And I'm watching this, and they got that big battle at the end, right? All the superheroes are fighting, you know, Thanos and all that stuff, and they're going to town. And for the first time in the history of my viewing, and I've been watching movies a long time, I jumped up off the chair when they finally took this dude down, and I went, yes. And I had to catch myself. I was like, whoa, like, this ain't even real, but I'm getting excited about it. That's a good movie. When it makes you jump up and cheer. That's the power of movies, man. That's why I like them so much. So anyway, they can make you afraid. Like horror movies can make you afraid of the dark. Jaws can make you afraid of the water. A good movie can make you jump up and cheer for the good guys. I mean, it's crazy. But anyway, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for watching.